Hi, I'm John Messina, Athletic Director at St. Lucie West Centennial High School, and welcome to another edition of Hey Coach. We have three guests with us tonight. First, Michael Stutzke from Sebastian River High School, a good friend of mine, the Athletic Director there. Rick Baxter from TC Palm, Mike Graham from TC Palm. And we're going to talk about a special event in a few minutes. First of all, I'd like to get to each one of you guys and talk about your background and how you got involved in high school sports. Michael, since you're just like myself, we got a few weeks left.
We do. That's for sure, buddy.
Just a brief little summary how you got involved in high school sports.
For sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And common denominator between us, of course, is I think when you have a love of sports in high school and college, and you get involved in education, and then before you know it, your career sunsets. I've been the athletic director at Sebastian River for the past 22 years. And proud of it, and have enjoyed sports here along the Treasure Coast.
Okay, Rick?
Well, at Treasure Coast Newspapers and TC Palm, we just know that how incredibly important youth sports is to the community. Okay. So, Mike Graham sitting to my left here, the coverage they provide, the depth of coverage, and how they connect with the community. So as the marketing person, I just want to make sure we support all of that and bring that together, because there's some great stories to tell in youth sports, and we're just excited and honored to be part of this, quite frankly.
Mike, we're going way back.
Way back, John. Thanks for having us today. Played a little bit of sports in high school, and then thought I'd try to become a writer. And 40 years later, still doing it. It's been a lot of fun, and the athletics here on the Treasure Coast, especially this year, gosh, we've had volleyball state champs, we've had girls basketball state champs, tennis state champs. We were talking about the individual up at Sebastian River who won the discus last week. So, the sports here on the Treasure Coast is very competitive, and it's a lot of fun to cover. And we've got two great guys that really make our coverage go, with Dennis Jacob, who you too well know, and John Santucci. They are real hustlers and really get out there and do a lot of good coverage for us.
Before we get into our actual event, and let me ask you two guys, Mike and Rick, how has reporting sports have changed over the years? I mean, since I started calling in scores, and the newspaper was the big thing. How has it changed over the years, and what do you kind of foresee for the future?
Well, everything's right now, with Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all the programs that are out there. People really want to see results in real time, and I don't blame them. I'm kind of an immigrant to it, and I've learned it as I go. A lot of these kids, it's second nature to them. But and you want to know the score right now. We have a scoreboard that runs on Friday Night Football, yes. And I follow Twitter instead of looking at our own scoreboard, because I know I'm going to get it in real time.
Right.
So it just makes it. As we talked about before, John, you used to come in and bang out a story after a game, and now you're constantly updating in the progress of game with photos and buying video and all kinds of things. And it really makes it fun for the kids who follow it, and for more and more people are getting involved in social media.
Rick, what do you think about that?
Well, as Mike said, I mean, even old dogs like us, we're lost without our phones nowadays, right?
Absolutely.
So everyone's got their smartphones, and that's that mobile platform, and you can find out anything you want up to the minute. The folks that work for Mike, John Santucci, Dennis Jacobs, those guys, they are passionate about all this information. And, they want to get it out there as quickly as possible. And, it's really an amazing thing, quite frankly, because, you look at newspapers, been around for a century, right? But now we have this amazing platform, smartphones, mobile digital. And guess what? All these young folks, the millennials, they're totally plugged into that. And that's exactly the business we're in nowadays. So it's kind of a very exciting time for us, time of change, of course, but particularly with sports information, because the up-to-the-minute aspect is so valuable for people, right? So once again, we couldn't do it without you all, though, because you guys are making the news by what you're doing, and then we're just excited to report that and to support the community in those areas.
Michael, as an athletic director, how has reporting the scores and the communication with the newspapers, how has that changed over the years? I know it's changed a great deal since you and I started.
Well, absolutely, and I think with what Rick has just, if you will, encapsulated, hits the nail right on the head. Everybody wants to know today, and at the very latest, the next morning, and especially parents. I mean, I think that's the one thing that hasn't changed over the years, but oftentimes parents have as much information as the coaching staff or the athletic office has. So there's a good give and take and a sharing that takes place, but everything is, I mean, I guess you could say it's what this generation is all about. It's me and it's now. And I think that's what's changed in the 22 years since I came into it, since, you know, we both were colleagues together in this. I think from the athletic director standpoint, these new tools that technology offers us makes us more efficient and better at what we do. And let's face it, we can all take whatever tools and help that are out there. It does put extra work on an athletic administrator because of the demands that are placed. And people want it now, and if you don't have it and you can't get a hold of a coach or a particular player, it does force you to go the distance, which we're used to doing, but when you pile that on everything else that's on our desk, it can be consuming.
And our staffs have been reduced over the years, and then
Excellent
Michael
point.
and I was talking about that. We just don't have enough assistant coaches. You know, I remember when I started first being an athletic director in 1983. Boy, you know, we put a score in on a Friday, you wouldn't see until Monday. Then you'd find out who'd win on Monday, or you put stats in, and they would always be a week or two late. Now, like you guys were saying, it's instantaneously it comes on. You know, I could be at our football game, and if I want to know how Michael's doing, I'll know immediately how he's doing without making a phone call or anything, right by, you know, either on Twitter or something else like that. Okay, Rick, we got a big event coming, and we all want to chime in on this, so let's give us an outline of this event that's out there for the community.
Yeah, well, we're very excited about this. So Wednesday, May 25th at 7 p.m. at the Sunrise Theater, which is a wonderful venue, absolutely beautiful venue, downtown Fort Pierce. We have this incredible event that's going to really recognize achievement in youth sports. Okay, we have, it's actually a two-part event. We have the Treasure Coast Sports Commission and all their wonderful awards, and we also have the awards that are given out through our sports department. Through our editorial side.
Can you go through the Sports Commission awards first, okay?
Yeah, well that will be an exciting part of the program. Of course, every school has a male and female athlete, right? Working with Rick Hatcher, an incredible guy at the Sports Commission. And, you know, those awards are particularly valuable for this event because they're very well-rounded. They speak to character and leadership and other qualities like that, right? So, it's interesting, too, just to note, our keynote speaker is Jason Taylor, of course, former All-Pro Dolphin, Miami Dolphins. And what you'll find is when you attend the event, his keynote speech, of course, sports is important for him, but he also will speak to the fact that, you know, it's not just about sports. You know, it's about character and leadership and becoming a well-rounded student athlete. Right? So we all know that sports is unbelievably, incredibly valuable, but we also know that only a portion of students will make their living in sports, right? So that well-rounded approach is a big part of the theme that Jason is going to be talking about on May 25th. But we just feel blessed to be working with the Treasure Coast Sports Commission and all the relationships that you guys have and what you guys represent and associating our brand at TC Palm and Treasure Coast newspapers with the Sports Commission. So, and then of course, once again, then we'll have the awards that our newspaper has been giving out for 20 plus years, I don't know, 2 decades or more. You know, historically, we always gave the awards, we recognized the awards in the newspaper, right? As the sports came about.
Correct.
And then we basically decided, hey, what if we essentially wrapped a recognition event around these awards? And because they're already giving these awards out, right? And then when we talked to Rick Hatcher, it seemed like the Sports Commission was poised to take their recognition up to a higher level. Right. So it just seems like there's a lot of serendipity here that we've all been able to partner and help each other. So I just think the time is right for this, and I think we're going to have an incredible event. And there's a lot of people very excited about this, so I think it's going to be fantastic.
Right, Michael, as an athletic director, a lot of times when the Sports Commission gave their awards, we couldn't coincide that with our individual sports banquet. So like you said, this is a great platform. One thing that you touched on, Rick, and I think for everybody out there, I know Michael and I as athletic directors, we want to win. But that's not the most important thing. And I think each year as we go by and each year as we have been an athletic director, it's less and less. It's a big difference from when I was coaching, I'll tell you that right now. But I think the two students, the male and female student that are going to represent your school are not just an athlete, but they're student athletes.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to a senior award banquet, and we're going to recognize our two award winners tonight, plus at May 25th. And, they're in the top 10 of the class, and they're student athletes, and they got this award and that award, because that's what it's all about. And Mike, why don't you go into a more detail with that?
Well, with the Sports Commission, for the past 19 years, we've looked at ways to have those tentacles out to all of the schools. We've got 18 high schools along the Treasure Coast. Right. When you touch on how important sports is in this geographical area and the caliber of student athletes that we turn out, to be able to recognize those student athletes that embody what we would hope every student athlete would aspire to be. That's where the idea of the recognition from the Sports Commission came. And so each year when we reach out to the area athletic directors, we ask them for those two names. In the past, the plaques were given to the athletic directors, John said, to present. This is a golden opportunity to celebrate excellence in the area of high school sports, because the individuals that are going to be recognized, they truly represent the best of what the Treasure Coast has to offer. And for a community, and I'm speaking broad-based here of the Treasure Coast, to be able to come together in a very special way, in a special place, to celebrate student athletes, not only is it win-win, but it is something that the entire community can celebrate. So I think this is very big for the Treasure Coast and for all 18 high schools.
And then we're taking it up a notch. And like you said, we're not just St. Lucie County. It's going to be Martin County, Okeechobee County, Indian River County.
Right.
And this is, 4 counties is quite a big area. But we're trying to take it up a notch. Mike, let's go to what the Prep Zone has been doing. And can you give everybody, our listeners out there, a little background for the Prep Zone?
Well, we talked about how things have changed over the years. And as we talked about, there used to be a newspaper, and that's all you had. Yeah. And once the internet came along, we were kind of out in front of it, in that we had folks who were thinking ahead and thinking of things that could bring what we call page views to our website. And we try to do that. It's mostly positive. It's all positive. We're talking about kids, and we do polls, and they're for fun, and we're looking for engagement. But we want them back on our site as we go forward. And Prep Zone allows us to cover boys bowling just like we do football. Right. And we give everybody an even platform to have their word out there. And we've had great success because of guys like Jacob and Santucci and others before them that have really put in the time to get that information in there. So Prep Zone is on our TC Palm website. It's got pull-down menus for every sport. It's got polls that run through the year. And we've had a lot of success with our polls, and we will continue to do it to keep that engagement up.
When you said engagement and interactive, years ago when people read the newspaper, you had no idea who's reading the paper, right? Now there's going to be a little interaction. Give us some examples of some of the interaction you can have.
Well, we do, and we have a lot of back and forth and comments, and that's, in the world of online, it's all based on data, and it's based on page views and time on page and things like that. So, our goal is to put something in a positive light there that attracts these athletes, attracts mom and dads. You'd be surprised of grandmothers that have called me and say, when is the voting going to stop for the Player of the Week poll? I'm tired of voting for my grandson here. So we hope that through that we get people interacting with us, because that's how we're going to survive going forward. Rick and I both know that someday the newspaper will go away and all we will have is online. And it's a challenge as we move forward. We've tried a lot of different things, and Prep Zone's one of the things, fortunately, that we have a great sponsor, and Florida Atlantic University has been a great partner of ours in Prep Zone this year, and is our key sponsor on the banquet. So it is a business world,
sure,
and we are trying to make money, and we feel fortunate that Prep Zone has a great sponsor in FAU and some of the others that have come in to back us with the banquet. And we're really, the banquet, I just got to hit on it for a minute. The Treasure Coast Sports Commission will give their awards, and we know those are straight up, there's no drama to that.
Right.
There is a bit of drama with these 52 kids we're bringing in because only 26 are going to be winners.
So you're going to bring 2 from each sport. They are the 2 finalists. And
Correct.
that night, you bring them up on stage. Well, you guys do the rest.
Right. They'll be there.
Yeah.
They won't, and the winner will be brought up on stage
Yeah.
to receive the award. And,
Okay.
and something I'm going to make very clear is, and we all know this, is that they're all winners. To be
Sure.
the last 2
The last 2.
standing in their sport is a tremendous
Well,
accomplishment.
let's take baseball, for example. If we're talking 18 schools and 20 players on a baseball team, and then you're down to the final 2
Wow.
players, so that's a tremendous accomplishment right there.
It is, and it's that's the one part of the night. I just hope that they understand that they won when they walked in the door, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a little drama there, I'm sure, for some not to win, but I want to make sure we tell that they are winners. To be like
So
you
you're
say,
gonna
John.
give that speech,
I'm
right?
going to give a little bit of
Okay.
a warm up to that,
Okay.
and like you say, 2 out of how many baseball players?
Yeah.
There's got to be 400 or 500. So.
Now you take football,
Oh,
and you
it's
got
double
18
that.
schools and more than double that, on that. But like you said, it's going to, what can the public do out there? We want to get them involved. We want to get them coming, Rick, what can they do?
Yeah, well, let me mention one thing too, because Mike mentioned FAU, tremendous sponsor. Just to let you know too, specifically with the Treasure Coast Sports Commission Awards, the Treasure Coast Sports Commission has its own sponsor, Florida Power and Light.
Okay.
So that's another wonderful sponsor, great relationship.
Absolutely.
Looking at the community, looking at the future, wanting to develop student athletes, and so FP&L coming in very big also, very important.
Okay.
Well, what we would say is that anything anyone can do to get the word out about this. I mean, these are these youth are our future, right? So anything we can do. Michael Stutzke is an extremely articulate way of saying this about how we really are investing in our future by using this platform to celebrate excellence, right? So any way we can get the word out about this, what we're doing is very much being appreciative of the athletic directors, of helping these young men and women RSVP for this event, quite frankly. We want to make sure they all know about it. And quite frankly, coaches, faculty, parents, whoever that is, here's the way we're going to put it. Anyone who wants to be there, we'll get you tickets. We'll find a way to get you there. There are tickets on sale on the website, but we don't want anyone to miss this.
Okay.
And if the ticket price is a barrier, let us know through your athletic director, through your coach, and we want families there, we want coaches there, we want faculty, we want the whole youth sports community to be able to attend this night. So just getting the word out is really what it's all about. Is that about right, Mike?
That's exactly right, and you put it right, Rick. We'll find a way to get you there if you want to attend, and we'd love to see, the Sunrise seats 1,200, and it would be terrific to see the venue filled up that night.
Well, I think once we get it going, and we'll talk about the future in a second, but I'll tell you a funny story. Dade County's been doing this for years. Now you're talking 50, 60, 70 schools. And they would have it at the Civic Center. So, they had some really good, guest speakers. Bobby Bowden, a few others. But the best one was George Steinbrenner. And when I was the athletic director at Pace, I had 4 of my athletes were nominated for the finals, just like you do. So I sat next to Mr. Steinbrenner, and, of course, I'm in awe of being a big Yankee fan. They marched everybody on stage, okay? Now, this is, something that they had done for years. Do you know he was picking the winners by the way they walked up on stage? And he was like 9 out of 10. And I was shocked. She's going to win. I'll never forget, we had a girls soccer player. I was good friends with the family named Marinello. And Lynn, who was going to North Carolina, was one of the finalists. And he goes, John, she's going to win. I like the way she walks and her presence. And look, I was just in awe of what they did. But that is a big thing for them, and hopefully down the road, Another thing, Michael, maybe you can expand on this a little bit. When we're reading things online now, I know as a coach, geez, when I want to scout somebody, I couldn't go get a newspaper. I have, what am I going to drive up to Orlando, put 50 cents in there and read about the team that we're going to play? Now, how does, having everything online help as an athletic director and as a coach?
Well, I know that our coaches utilize, obviously, what is there available to them. But if you go back in the day, you're right, as the old track and cross-country coach, you'd buy all of the newspapers from that area. You'd immediately go to the box scores, if you will, and you charted, you charted the times and the whole 9 yards. Talk about real time. The event ends. You go, you read, you go, okay, this is what we're going to have to do. You knew it right then and there.
Exactly right.
And coaches today, and I think that's what makes coaches as good as they are today, is that they're taking all of that real-time information, digesting it, coming up with a game plan, and they're ready to rock and roll. And I think that's the exciting thing about our younger coaches that are coming on board, because technology is just so second-hand, second nature to them, that they're using it at every angle to enhance the product that ultimately they put out on the field or on the court.
I remember, just going up to the state tournament, if we were playing somebody, the first thing we do is say we're staying in a Holiday, and boy, we'd run out and get those newspapers. We put the quarter in and take all 12, and just read about those teams. What do you think we got planned for the future in this? I mean, Rick, what do you think? How can we expand on it? I know this is a great idea.
Yeah.
We're all excited, but we're going to have a year under our belts next year. What do you think we could expand on this out to the community?
Yeah, well, you know what? We are totally open about that. It's a fantastic question. I think anytime you have a first-year event, one of the things you want to make sure is you capture all the learning. And quite frankly, we obviously will learn some things logistically about the event, the venue, things like that. But what we plan to do, quite frankly, is after the event, we're going to probably try to buy you all breakfast one more time, all the athletic directors, and really pick your guys' brains. And you tell us, well, what was good, what was less than good, and how can we make this into something that is a win-win-win for the student athletes, for the schools, for the communities, for the coaches. Because we really believe that if we're able to do that, it'll be good for us. Because if we serve the community that way, we'll do okay.
And Michael, sometimes it's over our heads too. We got to get to the district office. Just even over our heads of our principals. We got to get. We have 4 different counties. We got to get to, and a lot of private schools. We got to get to the big people up there. We got to get to the district office and show that this is just not an athletic event. It's a student athlete event, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think a couple of things here. Number one, like anything else, you crawl before you walk before you run. I think a wonderful foundation has been laid here. The idea of TC Palm, the Treasure Coast newspapers, and the Treasure Coast Sports Commission collaborating is wonderful, because there's a lot that the Sports Commission can do and that they want to do to promote sports here on the Treasure Coast. I mean, after all, that's our job. But I think moving forward, after this first year is under our belt, this should be an event that every student athlete on the campus should aspire to be part of, whether they're there as a spectator to celebrate the accomplishments of a teammate, or to be, and we all know who those athletes are, that the cream rises to the top, that they should aspire to be part of this event at the end of every year. I want to be at the Sunrise Theater. I want to work towards having my name and my school recognized, because let's face it, at the end of the evening, it is truly a badge of honor for every student athlete that is there. The winners, obviously, for their schools, obviously, but it is a celebration for the Treasure Coast and our student athletes, and that is something that we're all going to walk away from truly enriched, and something that we can look forward to year after year.
And I'm thinking, just on TV with something like the ESPYs, and my brain's kind of thinking right now, maybe we can down the road pick a team of the year. right?
Yeah.
So now you would have a whole team there. Say, and we have had some state champions, so you would have that whole team there, and maybe they'd be celebrated as Team of the Year, But Michael, any ideas about expanding things? Or?
Well, that's where we're going to buy you breakfast. That's a great
Right.
idea, there, John. I'll tell you what.
Right.
I get a free breakfast already.
Like Rick said, anytime you do something the first time,
Yeah.
you're just kind of guessing as you go down through there. And there's a lot of things in play to marry up with the Treasure Coast Sports Commission. Has been a terrific deal to bring that whole academic side to it. And we feel Jason Taylor's going to be a great guy. And, from our awards, adding a team would make perfect sense, I think. There's going to be a lot of debriefing back at the office, too, to how we did the social media on it, how we carried things out online in real time. So, there's a lot to digest after we do this. And we feel real positive of the program we've got and the people in place. So we're excited to get there. I know there's been a lot of preparation on our end to get there.
And we're going to cover it on our TV station here. Greg Wyatt's going to cover it on WPSL Live, so I know Greg will have a few little comments in there with Mike Thomas. So, I mean, we're promoting it. But like I said, I think this is a great opportunity. I have heard Jason Taylor speak before, and he is just absolutely terrific. But, we're kind of running out of time a little bit here. I want to thank you guys, Michael, for all you have done all the years, reporting. I remember when we first started way back when,
Well, we used to call those scores in, and now your guys send them in electronically, which makes it a lot easier for us to, with the manpower we got. But yes, we go way back, and Michael, you guys have been great. You always pick up the phone when we call. Might not say what we'd like you to say. You might not say anything at all, but
sometimes we can't.
Sometimes we can.
But you've always made yourselves available, and I appreciate it very much. And congratulations to you two guys. What a terrific job you've done here on the Treasure Coast.
Rick, thank you so much. This is a great idea. I mean, we found out about it in May. I wish we found out about it in December.
Yeah,
Our brains would be rolling on that, but we'll be there. Michael, this is it for us, huh?
It is, my friend.
How many years together? We have had some great games.
We've had some great games, great relationship between our schools, and a great professional relationship. John, I've enjoyed it.
Right, and you've just been a pleasure to work with, and we have had some good times. I'm going to miss you guys. One funny story as we're coming down the end. I promised my kids, after 44 years, never going to miss another birthday. We're never going to miss Dan's birthday. We're never going to miss my oldest son's birthday. Never again. Guess what date the birthday is?
May 25th.
May 25th.
We got tickets for
So
him.
I got tickets for him. So we're going to go out afterwards. But this is going to be exciting, and I'll tell you guys ahead of time, even in retirement, I think Michael and I will always be here for you guys. And
Most
if you need us for anything, but we're going to get it out to the public out there. It's May 25th. It's at the Sunrise Theater. If you want a ticket, we're going to find you a ticket, okay? We'll get you there. Come out. You're going to see the best student athletes. A lot of times you're going to see these young men and women. They're going to be at the next level, and a few of them are going to be at the next level, So come on out, and I'd like to thank you guys for coming on the show, and thanks, everybody, for another edition of Hey Coach.